MacBook Pro. After 4 months of using it, I have decided to draw some conclusions about it. So, let's get started. First off, it boots very quickly. You notice the light now? You notice the backlight there? It's on already. For the moment you lift the lid, it's on. The keyboard. Very well made keyboard. The layout is very nice. However, there could have been a function lock so that the function keys could act as the actual function keys instead of the brightness adjustments and volume controls, etc. The arrow keys are well made. I'm not a fan of having full size left and right arrow keys if you're putting half height up and down arrow keys. So that's always good. However, something I'm not used to is using command instead of control to copy and paste, and also select all, save, undo, cut. The command key could have been placed there, but that's for Apple to decide. It is very different from what a normal keyboard would look like, a Windows keyboard, where control is responsible for select all, save, undo, cut, copy, and paste. It has a gorgeous 2560 by 1600 screen. You have to run it with scaling in macOS, however, but it's fine because it's roughly 1080p and it is very good, very vibrant in color, and the contrast is good as well. Now to come with the ports. It has a MagSafe power port, which is very useful, especially because if you trip over your charger, the laptop doesn't fly off the table. 2 Thunderbolts, which I haven't used yet. USB 3.0. And a headphone jack. 2 microphones there, if you can see the little holes. On the other side, we have an SD card, which I honestly dislike so much. We'll get into that a bit later. A HDMI port and another USB 3.0. Now as to why I hate that SD card slot. When I put the SD card in here, let it go in. It only goes in about halfway. It doesn't let you push it in any further. And that can be a problem if you're using SD card as an extension of the storage on the Mac. Now I got the base model, which only has 128 gigs of storage. So I do have a very large SD card that I use to extend my storage. And that really bugs me when I'm carrying the laptop around, as it might just break off and you'll lose all your data. Also, when you pull the SD card out, the little lock slider here, it sometimes slides, it gets pushed down so that it's locked, so that you can only read from it, you cannot write to it. That happens when you insert it, which means that sometimes when you insert the SD card, you can't read from it. No, you can only read from it, you can't write to it. And that is very annoying. The MagSafe lid is a nice touch. The activity monitor for Mac, while good, isn't what I'd expect for an activity monitor, but it does the job, so it's okay. Now for the preview. The preview window, when you're trying to look at pictures, is good, but you can't use the arrow keys to scroll through your pictures, which I find annoying. However, force click to view the pictures does work. So, that's all. The terminal for macOS is something that I have struggled with so far. I don't quite understand the procedure behind it. However, that is because I'm coming from a MS-DOS user. So, it's only about learning, I guess. The selection of apps that you can get for the macOS operating system is actually more than you would think. It's not just the App Store, you can also download it from the internet. However, I use Autodesk Inventor, and that seems to be a Windows-only program, which I am disappointed by, but it is a 16 gigabyte file, I believe, something around that. so rewriting all that in another language would be a pain. The battery is good, screen brightness and keyboard backlight self-adjusts, even when I have a blob of blue tack over the webcam, which is amazing. And overall, it's a good experience. Overall, it's been a very good daily driver. However, there are a few quirks in macOS that I'm not used to, especially coming from a Windows user, and that really bugs me. So, in the future, I might install Windows on the Mac and use it like that, but I have heard that there's a few quirks, so I have to look into it more before deciding. If you do the math, a similarly spec'd out Windows PC would be about $400 to $500 cheaper than the space model Mac. However, that wouldn't come with any included software, whereas this Mac does. So if you take all that into account, this Mac is worth roughly what it costs now. It's an enjoyable experience, but I have to say, macOS isn't for me. I'll be switching to Windows soon-ish, maybe, hopefully anyways, and use that on the Mac. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.